Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Series 4 of the Jake Lindsay Show! Now, please put your hands together and welcome to the screen, the man himself, Jake Lindsay! Yes, hello and welcome to episode 2 in Series 4 of the Jake Lindsay Show! We've got an absolutely jam-packed show for you this week, so I'll get straight into it. We'll be talking all things Vicky Foxcroft and British Sign Language in the Big Issue. We'll have an in-depth interview with Penketh Parish Council Candidate Leigh Jones in this week's guest. And we'll be showing you an exclusive trailer for a short film called The Fruit Fix in Take to the Stage. The Big Issue, yeah. Our big issue for this week is the amazing question put to Boris Johnson by the MP for Lewisham in Deptford and the Shadow Minister for Disabled People, Vicky Foxcroft, at last week's sitting of Prime Minister's Questions. For anyone who hasn't seen it, here it is.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And if the Prime Minister doesn't understand, imagine how those who rely on British Sign Language feel at his press briefings. 2.6 million spent on the new press room, yet still no interpreter. What message does he think this sends to disabled people?
And here is the Prime Minister's response.
I'm grateful to the honourable lady and grateful for the way she has set out her question. I will revert to her as soon as I can.
Scotland have an interpreter. Wales have an interpreter. Northern Ireland have an interpreter. I've never heard such nonsense from a leader of a country before. Sort it out, Boris. Whilst we're on the topic of disability, I'd like to thank Leah from Customer Services at the Trafford Centre for putting a tweet out on Twitter yesterday to help make shoppers and staff aware of a brand new scheme that's been put in place across the centre to help those who might not be able to put a face covering on due to sensory issues. For those of you who haven't seen the tweet, here it is. It's good to know that there are people in services out there who care about those who need extra help. This week's guest is Penketh Parish Council Candidate, Ferry, Tavern and Manna staff member, Leigh Jones. So, hello Leigh, how have you found lockdown?
Yeah, so I think like a lot of people, it's been challenging, hasn't it? Not seeing friends and family and not being able to do the things that we normally do. But, I guess, there's been positives as well for certain people, a chance to maybe reflect and slow down a little bit. That's certainly some things that I've took from it. But it's just about trying to keep busy, I guess, and filling time with stuff. So I've had a couple of different jobs. I'm working with the NHS at the moment on the vaccine rollout to support that. So yeah, it's I'll be happy when it's over, certainly.
How have you found it trying to get people to back you when it comes to you taking such an important step in local affairs with one of the deadliest health pandemics the UK has ever seen being thrown in?
Yeah, good question. It's obviously very different, I think, to normal times. There's a lot of things that need to be done differently. So it's just about how we kind of adapt and do that, really. It's early days as well. We've still got a bit of a way to go until May. I think, things are going to be different. I think there's just different ways that we can approach it. So I'm obviously going to use social media as much as I can to kind of share as much information, but recognising as well that a lot of people in Penketh don't use social media, and they may not be. So still the good old traditional, leaflets and that kind of stuff. And hope to try and just reach as many people as we can, really, and spread the message and, try and campaign still whilst in these restrictions.
Obviously, you said in your teaser video on Facebook that you've got no political allegiance at all. Do you think that being independent is something that other people in exactly the same position should either consider or should have already considered in a way?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite right. I haven't got any political allegiances. think for me personally, local politics and local matters shouldn't be about a party. So the benefit of being independent, or an independent councillor should I be elected, I haven't got any political pressures. There's no whips that can try and make me vote in particular ways. I think it's about doing what's right for local people, really, and seeing, putting them before politics, which I think is what local matters, local politics should be about. I guess, if there's local things that are happening, or different concerns that residents may have, etc. Just because a political party might be persuaded in one way or another, it's about doing what's right for them and doing the best thing for them, really.
As many locals will know, alongside all of this amazing stuff you've done, you also help out at the Manna House and the Ferry Tavern. What's it like being part of the so-called temporarily closed, even though they've been closed for way longer than anyone expected, hospitality sector?
Yeah, so you're quite right. I've worked at the Ferry for 10 years, I think. I'm counting. I've worked at the Manor House since we opened in 2017. It's the pandemic's really hit hospitality hard, as it has done with many different industries. Obviously know more about hospitality and the impact of it, because you're quite right. Yeah, I am a part of it. I think really it's been tough, and I'm sure any hospitality manager would tell you that. It'll get back, I'm confident. I mean, I think it's about 130 billion pounds that hospitality contributes to the UK economy. So, I'm sure it's in everyone's interest for it to come back, and certainly the millions of people that it employs. The schemes that the government have offered have been really useful in trying to protect jobs, so like the furlough scheme and different other support measures. I think have been able to save a lot. It does make me very sad that there's some places that have closed and won't reopen after this. So the positive is, we're edging closer now to being able to reopen, and the sooner we do that, the better, I think.
Do you miss working?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I've not stopped working really throughout. I've just had to do different things whilst we've been shut. But no, I absolutely can't wait to get back in there with the public and reopen, serve the pints or the cakes or whatever we're doing. It'd be really good. Looking forward to it.
Obviously, it isn't the first time that the ferry's closed, because it's had to close due to previous floodings. What's it been like trying to restart business when that happens?
Yeah, so I was around for the 2013 flood, December 2013, which was devastating really to see. It was horrible. It came at a really difficult time for Andy and Jade, who are the licensees there. Jade had just given birth to their firstborn, so it came at a really bad time. I guess the community really did come together, and there was a lot of people that came from everywhere to offer their help and support, whether that was cleaning up or building things, or trying to just get it back open and get back on track. So that was really warming and humbling to see. But yeah, any type of flooding, the devastation that it leaves behind is, it isn't good. But with a little support and perseverance, then Jade and Andy got there, and hopefully, touch wood, we haven't had one since. So fingers crossed. That's
what amazes me about community, when people come together and help you out, and we all help each other.
Absolutely, yeah. Very important.
It's vital for the community to socialise in a pub. Do you think it's important and vital for the community to have a space like that?
I think it's crucial. It's critical, and even if that's not a pub, even if that's a local cafe, or the pandemic essentially has stopped people coming together physically. We understand why that is. That was for the very important reason of stopping the spread of the virus. And But I think, yeah, in terms of people's mental health and, all of that kind of stuff, a pub is a really good place for, for people to come and socialise, to meet up with friends. And even if they're not meeting up with friends, they're going to talk to somebody, whether that be interacting with the staff or just people. We see often in the Ferry that, people are walking as strangers and leave as friends, and that's what we say. So I think it's really important people to look out for each other, and I think it lifts your spirits. You're just having conversation with people, and I think that's really important, certainly when it comes to mental health as well.
And do you think that punters will trust the government and the scientists and start meeting up in these vital spaces again soon?
Yeah, really good question. It's going to be one to watch, I guess, and one to see what happens. I think the vaccine rollout is certainly going to be a huge part of that. People feeling protected if they've chosen to get the jab. I think it's fair to say that many people probably will be apprehensive. Certainly, probably the older population or those with underlying health conditions. I know that Andy and Jade at the Ferry, and I'm sure all pub operators will do whatever they need to do to keep COVID secure whilst whilst we're still in a pandemic, until the restrictions have lifted. To create those safe spaces. I think ultimately it's going to come down to people's own choice and when they feel ready to go back out. Really, for some people that'll be sooner. For some people it'll be later. Maybe for others, they might never kind of go back to how things were. So it's just going to be one to watch, and we'll obviously, with my Ferry Tavern hat on, working with the team there to do everything we can to make it as safe as possible, really.
Obviously, a few series ago, we had a guy on called Nathan Turner who does a virtual pub quiz. Cool. Do you think those are important?
Yeah, so as the Wednesday pub quiz master of the Ferry Tavern, again, I think it's just another activity for people to socialise, to have fun. That's a really important part, and certainly contributes to mental health and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think it's great to have those activities running, pub quizzes, that kind of stuff. People seem to enjoy them, or certainly some people seem to enjoy them, and if it brings them together with friends or family or colleagues, then great, it's useful.
Do you think we should carry on those sorts of activities and virtual meetups after the pandemic as well?
Yeah. Everyone, we're talking now over video conferencing. A lot of people have got a lot more, have naturally used it a lot more over the last year. I think it's still a great way to connect with people. There's no question about it. It doesn't replace physical contact for me, and meeting up with people physically. But I think that there's certainly room for more of that kind of stuff, whether that be in the business world or just catching up with friends and family. Really, certainly, got loved ones that might live far away. So I've got a friend who has recently moved to Australia. His girlfriend's a doctor over there, fiance, I should say. And we catch up over FaceTime once every couple of weeks, and that's great. Just it's more personal, a phone call, but not as personal as face to face, of course.
Well, thank you so much, Leigh, for doing this. It's been amazing to talk to you.
No problem, my pleasure.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Leigh Jones, everybody! Now it's time to hop over to Positivity Corner. Positivity Corner. It's been announced this week by the Rugby Football League that finally, due to the partial lifting of England's lockdown restrictions, both wheelchair and women disability rugby league can rejoin the party. These two exhilarating versions of the Northern sport have only been able to take place virtually since way back around the 20th of March 2020. But we now know, thanks to a statement given by the sport's governing body, that from Saturday the 22nd of May and Saturday the 12th of June, these super special sports will be back in action once again. Take to the stage. As a member of the private Facebook group Rainbow After the Storm, where mental health matters, this week I'm going to share with you all the trailer for fellow member Phil Connolly's brand new short film all about social anxiety entitled The Fruit Fix. The film, which features star of stage and screen Mark Benton and one of the stars of the hit Irish sitcom Derry Girls, Jamie Lee O'Donnell, explores a unique way to treat social anxiety and is a nuanced, emotional, and sometimes silly look at a mental health issue that's affected many people at different stages of their lives. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this short preview of the absolutely fantastic production that is The Fruit Fix.
Miss Peterson, it's time.
I walked up and down outside 5 times. It took me 20 minutes to build up the nerve to go in.
Yeah, but last week you couldn't even do that.
I can't.
You can do this.
I can't. There's too many people.
Idiot. You had to push, didn't you? Risk something to survive it. Please be all right.
If you enjoyed that, the full production can be found at www.weaversproduction.com, or you can just search for Weavers Production on YouTube. Thank you very much to Leigh Jones and to everybody here at the Jake Lindsay Studios who've helped me to put this production together. We hope you enjoyed it. Be kind to one another. Bye bye. The Jake Lindsay Show. Thanks for watching. The Jake Lindsay Show. Hope to see you again. The Jake Lindsay Show. The Jake Lindsay Show. Thanks for watching. The Jake Lindsay Show. Hope to see you again. The Jake Lindsay Show.